Good morning. In this lecture, we will discuss about Monte Carlo simulation and we will discuss a special case that is functions of random variables. Basically, if you see any engineering expressions, it often consists of multiple random variables. When mathematical operations such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division are operated on these variables, this results in engineering expression. In some cases, this engineering expression has physical meaning, and in some cases, they cannot be related to the physical process, and they are more like abstract formula. So in today's lecture, we will discuss how we can use Monte Carlo simulation to get result for such kind of expression. To discuss this, let us consider case of water pipe that is often used in the cities to transport the water from one place to other place. These pipes are critical and often gets leaked due to high pressure of water inside this pipe, and this often causes inconvenience to the community and also results in maintenance action that requires large amount of money. So to predict the failure in such kind of pipe is very important, and if you remember, we derived expression for Hooper stresses in our mechanics of solid class. So if we have a pipe, so this is the cross section, so we can find what is the stresses that is generated inside this pipe. We can take a cross section. This all is basically have learned in mechanics of solid class. So if we take a cross section and apply equilibrium, then we can derive a stresses inside this pipe. Let's say a stresses inside this pipe material is S, that is often called Hooper stresses, and pressure due to the liquid inside this pipe is P, and thickness of this pipe is W. So we can derive an expression in terms of diameter also. So let's say diameter of this pipe is D. So we can derive an expression for Hooper stresses, and that comes out to be P times D divided by 2 times W. Now if you see this expression, P can be a random variable, that is internal pressure. Diameter can be random variable. Similarly, thickness of pipe can also be a random variable. Because of the corrosion, this thickness gets changing, and that's why it can be a random variable. Similarly, diameter and the pressure of the liquid can also be fluctuating, and it can be considered as a random variable. So if you see my parameters, that is P, D, W, so these all are random variables. So if these are random variable, the Hooper stresses, that is the output of this model, can also be a random variable. So in this case, S is also a random variable. So that's what we are saying. Hooper stress is a function of wall thickness, internal pressure, and diameter of the pipe. These all are random variable, and that's why a stress is inside this hoop, that is also a random variable. Now the question is how we use Monte Carlo simulation to calculate or to determine or to predict the failure inside this pipe, that is probability of failure inside this pipe due to the high pressure of the liquid. So these are the steps that we will follow to solve such kind of problem. So the first step is we have to write a relationship between different parameters. Basically, we have to find a physical expression or analytical expression for the physical process. So this is the first step. In the second step, we have to determine what are the parameters that is deterministic and what are the parameters that are random variable. So we have to determine the deterministic parameter and random variable parameters. Now once we have this, then we can simulate samples for the random variables, and that we can use Monte Carlo simulation. So in the third step, we have to use Monte Carlo simulation to simulate multiple samples. Now, this can be done using any computer programming. We will use Excel to illustrate these three steps and to simulate samples for different random variable and give result for the final output. So let us consider this example. And again we have the example of pipe. So this is the consider the pipe problem with the Hooper stresses and given by the following formula. So Hooper stress is given by this formula as discussed earlier. Now this has parameter P, D and W. So we can assume some parameters are random variable and some parameters are deterministic. So let's say diameter, that is diameter of pipe, is normally distributed with mean of 120 and coefficient of variation of 5%. Similarly, thickness of pipe, that is normally distributed with mean of 4 millimeter and coefficient of variation of 5%. Now, yield stress of material, that because the pipe is made up of some material, let's say iron, in that case we have to find or we have to know what is the yield stress of that material. So let's call that as a R. So yield stress R is also a random variable and it can be assumed to be normally distributed with mean of this and coefficient of variation of this. So the resistance provided by the material of the pipe is also a random variable. So my resistance is also a random variable. And in this case, demand is S. That is also a random variable. Moreover, we assume that pipe internal pressure is constant and equal to 10 MPa. So internal pressure P is constant, that is a deterministic quantity. Then we have to use Monte Carlo simulation to calculate probability of failure, that is P R minus S greater than 0. Basically this will be less than 0. So what we are saying, when the failure will occur, we will have, let's say, this quantity R, that is resistance provided by the material, and S is the Hooper stresses. So whenever resistance provided is less than the Hooper stresses, we will have failure. So my resistance, so this means I am providing less resistance and my Hooper stresses is more. So this means material is not able to provide sufficient stress. So in those cases we will have failure, that is R minus S is less than 0. So this is a case of failure. So whenever we have, so when we will have failure, when R minus S is less than 0. So we have to find the probability when R minus S is less than 0. So let us use Excel sheet to solve this problem. So let us solve using an Excel sheet. So we have been given diameter of pipe, that is mean is 120, coefficient of variation is 5, then we can calculate a standard deviation. So if you remember, a standard deviation and coefficient of variation and mean are related by formula, and that formula is coefficient of variation is equals to sigma by mu. So this is the formula we have. So if I use this formula, this means a standard deviation is equals to coefficient of variation times mu. So this formula we can use, or a standard deviation we can find here. So this is coefficient of variation times mu. So this gives me coefficient of variation times mu, and then we have to divide by 100 because this is given in terms of percentage. So this gives me a standard deviation. Similarly, for other parameters, we can also find a standard deviation. So let us first find. Thickness, mean is 4 and coefficient of variation is 5. So we can multiply these two quantity and divide by 100. That will give me the standard deviation for the thickness. Yield stress, that is mean is 200, coefficient of variation is 10. Then we can multiply these two quantity, divide by 100, so we can get the yield stress, a standard deviation for the yield stress. So now we have diameter, thickness and yield stresses, and internal pressure is a deterministic quantity, and that is equals to 10 MPa. So let us use Monte Carlo simulation to simulate our samples and solve this problem to calculate the probability of failure. So let us take 10,000 samples, and we'll use, first time we'll use 100 sample, 1000 sample, and then 10,000 sample. But for the time being, let us simulate all the samples at the beginning itself. So I'm pressing Control Shift and arrow down key. That will show me all the samples. So we have 10,000 samples. The initial starting cell is 10. That's why we have final is 10,010. So initial starting is 11. So that's why we have 10,010 is the end cell number. Now in the first step, we have to simulate a random variable, uniformly distributed random variable, and in Excel we have formula R, A and D that gives me uniformly distributed random numbers, and then if I double click, it will generate all the random numbers for 10,000 samples. Now we have to simulate samples for diameter, so we'll use norm inverse function, and then we have to give the probability, that is B11 cell, so B11, and then we have to provide mean is 120, this mean is 120, so I can put this, and then let's put a dollar sign to fix this, and then a standard deviation is this quantity, that is 6, then again put a dollar sign to fix this cell, and then we have to put a bracket. So this will give me the simulated diameter. Now we can double click and we can generate all the 10,000 samples. Now similarly, thickness is also normally distributed, so we can use first to generate 10,000 normally random distributed random numbers. So we have generated this. So this is RAND, so that is rand function of Excel. And then we can simulate 10,000 normally distributed thickness. So we can again use the same formula, that is, so I can copy here. So let's paste, and then we can change the cell numbers. So this cell is now 4, and this standard deviation is 0.2, and this is E11. So you see this formula is this cell, and E11, that is random number corresponding to this cell. Now if I double click, I can generate random numbers or simulated samples for the thickness. Similarly, resistance, that is a strength or yield strength, follows a normally distributed. So we can simulate in a similar way. So let us copy this formula and paste it here. Now let us check this. This contains a standard deviation is 20, mean is 200, and random number is H11. So this will give me the random sample for a strength. If I double click, this will give me 10,000 random samples for a strength. that is the yield strength of the material. Now let us calculate Hooper stress. So this is equals to, if you remember the formula, that is P times D divided by 2 into W. So let us say P is internal pressure is constant, that is 10. So let us fix this cell. P times D, that is diameter. So we have simulated diameter here. And this divided by 2 times W. So that is thickness. So we have thickness here. So we simulated one sample for the Hooper stress. So I can double click and then I can generate all the Hooper stresses. In this case, the double click is not working, so I have to drag in this case. So let's drag up to 10,000 samples. So now we have simulated 10,000 sample for Hooper stresses S. So my objective function is R minus S. So we can calculate R is this minus S, and then I can double click and this will give me all values corresponding to R minus S. Now we can find probability of failure for different situations. So let's consider, we will take 3 cases. Let us first take 100 samples, then 1000 samples, and then 10,000 samples. Now my idea is to find how many samples we have that are negative, that is R minus S is less than 0. So those samples will contribute to the failure, and if we divide by the total number of samples, then we can get the probability. So this is the simple idea for calculating the probability of failure. So we have to count numbers which are coming negative, and then we have to divide by the total number of samples. So let's take 100 samples and find how many samples we have those are negative. So we'll use this function, that is COUNTIF function. So this formula that requires range. So range is L11 to L110, so that is 100 samples, and criteria is less than equals to, and this is less than equals to 0. So this is giving me 2 samples, those are negative. Let's check. So in 100 sample I am having 2 samples that are negative. So let's go here, and this is one negative. So this is sample number 54, and then we can go this sample number 97. So there are 2 samples that are negative in out of 100 samples. So we can divide by 100 to get the probability. So this is what we have, the number of sample, and then we divide by 100 to get the probability of failure. Now we can do the same calculation for 1000 samples. Only difference we will have, in this case my range will be L11 to L1010. So this is L11, and then this is final, we have 10,010. So my sample is going from 11 to 10,010. So this is the final sample we have. So this is the sample we have, and then we can take this range, and the criteria is same, less than equals to 0. Now if you see, in this case 16 samples are negative, and the corresponding probability of failure is 0.016. Now if I take 10,000 samples, again in that case we have to change the range. This is from L11 to 10,010, and we can calculate probability of failure, that is 0.016. So we can further take more samples. If you use MATLAB, then these exercises are very easy to perform. You can take 10,000 and then 100,000 and 1,000 samples in writing just 2 lines of code. In Excel, this is little bit cumbersome. So you can see the idea is once you use more number of samples, your probability of failure becomes more accurate and you are converging towards the real probability of failure, actual probability of failure. Now we can also use this to plot histogram for a stress as well as a strength data. So let's say we want to plot histogram for S, that is Hooper stresses. So first we have to find what is the minimum value. So we will take minimum of the Hooper stresses, that is let's take all the samples, we can find minimum. So 10,000, 10. So minimum of all is this, and then maximum of all is this. This is K 10,000, 10. Sorry, this is 11. So this will go from 11 to 10,000, 10. Similarly, I have to check for minimum. So this is 11 to 10,000. And then we can find, let's say we want to plot histogram in 10 bins. So we can find bin size, that is maximum minus minimum. So maximum is this number, that is 016, and minimum is 015 divided by bin size 017. So that will give me the bin size. So bin size in this case is 8.4, and then we can find what are the bin arrays. So let's first take a minimum and then we can add the bin size to get the other bins. So let's say this is the minimum, and then in the next step we can add, so minimum plus this 8.5, that is basically 18th O18, so O18 cell, and then we can drag this and we can get this all this bin array. Now, so we have from 116.8 is the minimum and the maximum is 204.9. So now we can basically count number of data that is coming in this range. So first will correspond to 0 to 116.8. Second bin will consist of 116 to 125.6. Third bin consists of 126, that is 125.6 to 134.4. Now in Excel we have a function called frequency function that directly gives me the number of bins in different bin intervals. For that, what we have to use is first we have to define what is my data range. So this is the data array, that is 11 to 10,010, and then we have to give the bin array. So bin array, that is P15 to P24. So this is here. So this is P15 and this is P24. So we have basically passed this bin array into that formula. So once we use that formula, this gives me the frequency for different bins. Now we can plot the same thing for, so let's first plot the histogram and then we can plot for the R also. So let's plot first, insert, then I have to go here, and then I can change my x-axis. So for x-axis data is this. So this is plot for basically this is plot for S, that is Hooper stresses. Now same thing we can also do for that is resistance. That is yield stress in this case. So we have to change my formula. So this will go here. So resistance in I. So wherever we have K, I have to replace with I. So let's say my minimum is this. So minimum will be in the range. So let's write this is for histogram for R. that is illustrious. So this is histogram for illustrious. Now minimum is this, and then maximum. So simply we can replace k with I, or I can double click and then shift it here. And then this will be bin is 10, this will be the same, and this will also be same, and this we have to change, so this k will become I. So now we have these samples for, so we need to increase this is because maximum is 279, so I have to go up to 279, so that is, this will go up to this point, and then we have to double click here. So this function is, so this frequency is in this case P30, so I have to change my array will go from here to here, that is P30 to 49. So we can basically put a dollar sign to freeze this range. So there is a mistake. So 11 to so basically I have to give one less. So let's write this formula again, and then we can. So this is frequency, so this is equals to frequency function, and the data array is I. So this will go to 10,000. And my bin array will start from here, that is P of 30. So this will start P30, and this will end up to P48. So I have to consider one less. So this will give me the frequency in different bin. So basically I have to delete all this number. Now then we can add the histogram for illustrious also. So let's add in the same graph. So we have to add series 2. And the value is this. And I have to read the x-axis. X-axis will be this. So now this gives me the Hooper stresses and resistance. So I have a histogram for, this is for illustresses. So illustresses in this case is higher, and this is the Hooper stresses. So many cases you see left side is the Hooper stresses and the right side is the resistance. So this basically simulates for 10,000 samples, and we also show the histogram. The same thing we can do for 100 samples and 10,000 samples, or 1,000 samples, and we can plot the histogram. So let us summarize what we said. So we said we have a problem of different functions of different random variables. So in this case, we have a pipe diameter that is a random variable, and that is given by mean of 120, and we can calculate a standard deviation. Similarly, for the wall thickness, mean is given, coefficient of variation is given, then we can calculate a standard deviation. We can also show the plot for these two random variables. Similarly, yield stress distribution is given, we can plot this standard deviation and mean using a normal distribution in a probability density plot. Now once I have this distribution, we can simulate sample for different random variable, diameter, width, that is the thickness of the pipe, and hooper stresses and yield stresses, and then we can subtract these two so that we can get the numbers of failure. We can count all this and then we can divide by the number of sample, then we can calculate probability of failure. So if I do the same thing, the histogram plotting with 100 trials, will get something like this. We can also plot with 1000 trials, we will get something like this, and we plot with 10,000 trials with larger number of bins. So in this case, bin number of bins is higher. So we have plotted the same graph with larger bin size, larger number of bins. So it looks like this. So basically idea is to say for different number of cycles or different number of simulation, we can simulate samples and we can calculate probability of failure, we can show the histograms, and the accuracy of probability of failure of estimate depends upon the number of samples. For example, this simulation has been performed with different numbers of simulation for 10 to the power 2 to 10 to the power 7, and the probability of failure is this, and this is the number of failure in each case we have. If you see, as we increase the number of samples, my accuracy becomes higher and higher, and they are also trying to converge. So difference in this two is high, but slowly difference between the two iterations, successive iteration, that is 10 to the power 6 and 10 to the power 7, decreases, and we are reaching towards the accurate value of the result, that is probability of failure. So in this lecture, in nutshell, we describe how we can use Monte Carlo simulation to simulate samples and calculate the probability of failure when we have multiple random variables in one physical or mathematical expression. We can discuss more about the Bayesian method in the next class. Thank you.